Now, there's a lot of racing games that have released in the past 10, 15, 20 plus years, covering a wide range of experiences, whether you play arcade games to simcade to even full simulation, and that counts whether you're on PC or consoles as well. And of course, a wide range like that will obviously bring arguments. Now, some of these are totally fair arguments, whether it's about your favorite game, the better physics, the better car models, the better tracks, the better community, etc, etc. All of that is fair game. But there are two takes in the racing game scene that honestly we have to leave in 2025 because they just don't make any sense. So now that you're dying to probably hear them, let's talk about the two worst takes. So one of the worst takes that I hear a lot and pretty often is the whole you can't use third person while you're playing on a wheel, which is a bit absurd because we play these games to escape from reality, and the one thing we can't do in reality is see what our car looks like from the outside while we play on wheel. I'm sure you guys understand that, right? I mean, even to say that you can't be competitive on a wheel in third person, as you can clearly see, is a load of rubbish. Because even now, bro, come on. And just like that, we can easily complete a whole circuit as we want in third person. Even can I do this one? I didn't time it properly, but I think you guys can get the point. Being able to play third person in racing games, even when on wheel, kind of adds to a different experience. Now, thing is, on some games, it's actually pretty hard to do this. On Test Drive, for example, I can easily play in third person and perform pretty well with the vehicle. And I think that's because of how the camera moves in third person, which I know sometimes the camera is a bit of a hot topic, but it being semi-dynamic and kind of attached to the physics kind of gives you a rough understanding of what's happening with the vehicle. But on games like Motorfest or Forza Horizon, because it's fully dynamic, it's a bit hard for me to use wheel and play those games. But even then, I'm sure there's people who can play Forza Horizon and Motorfest quite easily on wheel in third person anyways. I mean, like I said, even for me, I still can. It's a bit of a challenge, but once you get used to it, I'm sure it's pretty easy. But this take is single-handedly the most annoying take I think ever, because when you think about it, there are some beautiful games with maps out there. I mean, let's be honest, Motorfest map, whether you think it's boring or not, it is quite scenic. And even when you take a look at Forza Horizon, although Forza Horizon 5 might not have been the best map in the Forza Horizon series, I think it's quite fair to say that Forza Horizon did have some good maps in its franchise, and maybe even Tokyo will be a very good map for Forza Horizon 6. But being able to go to your exterior and witness what your car looks like with the scenery is such a key part of car culture. It doesn't make any sense why you shouldn't be allowed, or why there is a rule behind, oh, you cannot use third person with your wheel, it's stupid, you're an idiot. Bro, that makes no sense to me at all. And don't mind that I hit that car, but it's okay, we're not gonna file an insurance claim. But that isn't to say that playing cockpit mode is boring. I mean, let's be honest, some cockpits in some cars look tremendous, and honestly, playing in cockpit mode with a steering wheel, the immersion level is unmatched, especially when you have cars with manual transmission, just like the Detomaso P72. I mean, come on, bro. Driving in this is something I will never be able to experience in my life. So being able to be in a car like this is just feeling that dream, and, you know, something that car culture people really do love to have. I mean, especially when you consider the fact that all the games out there that have open world kind of feed into this whole aspect. I mean, come on. But this is for all of you guys out there that have a wheel and like to play in third person, even if it's all the time, you know, even if you're someone who likes to play third person on wheel all the time and you don't like cockpit mode, yo, it's okay. I understand where you're coming from. This is just one of those takes in the whole racing game scene that I do not understand, and honestly, well, I don't think I ever will be able to understand it, because car people, we love seeing those type of videos. I mean, for example, take a look at these videos. These videos always like to have that camera where it's mounted at the back of the car, showing the car in third person, while of course the guy's driving in the cockpit. Now, why do we like these videos? Because we like to see the exterior, we like to see the exhaust flames, we like to see the exhaust, we like to see the car going through the scenery. We love to do all of that, and as we know, playing on wheel is just unmatched when you compare it to a controller. So being able to experience that, I mean, guys, how many points do I have to make up to tell you guys why there's no issue playing third person on a wheel? That take just doesn't make any sense to me. But of course, that take regarding steering wheels and third person can extend to any game, you know, not just the simcade or arcade racing game scene, but it can even count for games like Assetto Corsa, which, albeit not gonna lie to you, Assetto Corsa is a game where it's a lot more tough for people to have to drive in third person, especially when it becomes competitive. But I still think it is fair to say that it's totally okay to use a wheel in third person. I mean, why would I not want to feel the sensation of speed of my Bugatti going at maximum speed with max understeer there as well in a racing game? Because this on wheel is good. I mean, it is good to see this, but this is just as good. Feeling the sense of speed in cockpit or in third person, that immersion is there for all people to enjoy. But like I said, this extends to other games too. So let's boot up Assetto Corsa and you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. One thing that you're going to have people start doing in Assetto Corsa, especially when the open world drops, is, well, I mean, don't forget, you have indicators in this game too now, is using your indicators and driving in free roam with the wheel in third person. Guys, it's going to happen. I mean, come on. You make an open world system, of course people are going to have to do it, bro. I mean, why would I not want to see the beautiful rear end of the SP3 Daytona? It doesn't, listen, I mean, come on, bro. It makes no sense why you wouldn't want that. Because don't forget, you're gonna have the ability to explore all of the Taurus Farden, or honestly, I forgot how you pronounce it, but you guys get the point. We'll pull up here. Like, why did I not want to see the exterior of this? I mean, there is something I still have to admit. I said, of course, the Evo sounds from exterior aren't the best. Interior is where it is really good, though. I'm already... But it's still pretty good. Why would I not want to drive this car in the exterior? It's crazy work. The car's a bit damaged because I crashed into the wall. But one thing that does make the camera in the Assetto Corsa Evo quite easy to use in exterior is it's semi-dynamic. And what I mean by that is quite literally when you play the game like this, and this car is not going to handle well anyways, but it's broken, the suspension. But being able to know what the car is doing through the camera is very key, and you can only really get that from a semi-dynamic camera. And what I mean by that is the camera is static most of the time, and it allows for a little bit of sliding, but it still lets you partake in it. Now that I showed you this, there's another game where I think it's actually not frowned upon, because it's technically not cockpit, but it's technically not third person either. And that's in F1, because this camera is probably the most used camera in the F1 game, believe it or not. We'll start this off. And why is that? Well, partially because it's actually quite hard while using first person to kind of get a good view. What I mean by that is in this view, without VR, you kind of don't get a chance to see the whole vehicle. And what am I saying by that? Like, you're blocking the car right there, and obviously it's a bit tough because it's in 2D. If you had this on VR, I think you can actually say it's actually quite easy to be in this camera mode. But honestly, guys, it is quite hard. Not gonna lie to you. I think there's even a mod, or maybe there's even a feature where you can turn off the halo so you can see. But this is honestly one of the better cameras that people use in F1 a lot anyways, just because it's easier. But I will say, using an exterior camera, it might be a bit tough on wheel. I'm not sure if I could do it. Maybe it's possible, but I've never been able to do it on F1 while remaining competitive, although it does look like I'm doing okay right now. Sorry, Charles. It might not actually be that easy in the grand scheme of things. That's my thoughts on the whole cockpit camera take in this racing game scene. Honestly, I think it's blown out of proportion. It's totally okay to use third-person camera while you're playing on wheel. Guys, there's nothing wrong with it. But there's one more take that I have to discuss that I think is just as equally as bad. And that's actually something to do with sim games and playing on a controller. So let's talk about that. So we're here in the Assetto Corsa Rally and on controller for the first time, guys. Now, although I am by my wheel rig, it is time we test this out just to see, is it easy to play this game on controller? Now, the time you see above is actually time I already set on controller, 49.89 seconds. The issue was, I wasn't recording. So here we go with this, and I'm already messing this up. But the idea is that the games should be able to be accessible no matter what type of physics they have. And what do you guys think of that? I mean, when you think about it, why should controller people be left out behind? And I mean, let's be honest here. Consoles, normally, most of the time for any game, if it's like multi-platform on PC and consoles, you're gonna have the most amount of players on console. I mean, as you can clearly see, even with a full static camera, let's see if I can get a good time here. I'm gonna try and be conservative with the throttle here. But you guys can see, even on controller, this is actually quite manageable. And to be competitive on controller, as I've told you guys before, don't for a second think that just because you're on a wheel, you're amazing at a game. I mean, there are people who are on Gran Turismo, Assetto Corsa, etc., on controller, who could beat your ass with you being on a wheel. But the fact is, the Assetto Corsa devs have made it possible to play a sim physics game on controller. So just because the game is sim physics doesn't mean that, oh, okay, it's wheel only type of thing. Guys, that doesn't make any sense. Because right here is very much proof of being able to play a game with sim physics on controller. I mean, you could probably say the same for Richard Burns Rally as well, or any other game. Even Dirt Rally 2, I'm pretty sure, has some really good physics. And I'm sure a lot of those guys do play on controller as well. This game is unbelievably good on controller. No joke. Like, I am surprised at how like good this game feels. Whoops. Yo, you gotta be. Whoops. But yeah, no, seriously, I am unbelievably surprised that this game is quite good to play on controller. Okay, we're gonna try this on wheel to at least make sure that it's possible to beat ourselves on controller in this game. Probably because, you know, I really do hope it's possible. We're ahead already. There we go. Oh, what in the name of bugs is that? Okay. Gotta get ready for this turn as well. I'll handbrake a bit. Not the best rally line at all. But as you can clearly see, I cannot beat my time on controller. Maybe I could beat on this one. I think we have a much better line this time. Yeah, we do. That is a much better line, Alex. There we go. That is a much better line. And we should be good here. And we'll get our turn down. There we go. And we have beaten our time. I'll take that. So we can beat our time on controller. Definitely not easy, but it is possible. And before I end this off, let me quickly recap why this is even a thing. Now, this actually all stemmed from Project Motor Racing's launch. Yes, believe it or not. But when this game launched, there was actually an issue on controller on consoles. Now, this ended up being a bug, but despite that, it sparked the discussion of having a game like Project Motor Racing being accessible on controller. Now, Steve Alvarez Brown, who also known as Super GT, did tweet this out where he was saying he couldn't control the hypercar on PMR. Now, that sparked a massive debate. I mean, 1.3 million impressions, of course, is going to spark a debate where people were quite literally saying, well, he's a bad driver, or other things such as saying that, well, you shouldn't be able to play this game on controller anyways, which, bro, is literally the dumbest shit I've heard in my life. What do you mean you can't play PMR controller, bro? When you think about what Forza Motorsport has done, when you think about what the original Project Cars has done, when you think about games like Gran Turismo, even from people that have done sim racing or have moved from controller to wheel, you know, in fact, I would even go to wager a majority of the people who play racing games started out on controller before getting a wheel. I don't think it is incredibly, sorry, and maybe I don't think, but it is incredibly rare for someone to just get a console and a wheel straight away, and the first thing they do is boot up the game on wheel. I think that is incredibly rare, and if it happens, okay, but I'm telling you guys, especially on console, it is incredibly rare to have that event. Because, by the way, there's even a tweet that was here that said, you know what grabs my gears? Sim racing games costing millions of dollars to make, the game plays like this with gamepad, which is 99% of the player base. Now, of course, they're exaggerating, it's not 99, but console, even gamepad players are majority no matter what the game is, unless you get something like iRacing, which, bro, of course, it's not going to be majority gamepad. But that's the thing, and this again sparked a crazy debate. Even when you think about even Assetto Corsa, there's literally a mod to help people be able to drift. Up on the screen right now, for example, is a YouTuber who, and I'll leave their video link in the description below, but they posted a mod on how to be able to run controller on Assetto Corsa, and look at how smooth that drift gameplay is. Bro, it's undebatable. There are people on PC even who just can't afford a wheel but want to play these sim racing games with, you know, all the mods and stuff like that. So of course you would want to be able to make sure a game can be able to be played on controller. Because the thing is, people think that once you have a simulation game, it should only be playable on controller. But as I've proved to you before, even with Assetto Corsa Rally, and I'm sure Dirt Rally too, although the Simcade, it's still pretty far in the simulation between Simcade and simulation, but you can play these games on controller. You can play Assetto Corsa on controller. NASCAR, bro, I can go on and on. The list is incredibly long, but what is wrong with people thinking that you can't use a controller in sim racing games? But essentially, that is my two worst racing game takes that honestly should be dead. Like, we have to stop saying these two things. They don't make any sense. Like, basically, they take the fun out of racing. That is literally what these two takes do, to sum it up in a quick TDLR. But if you guys did enjoy this video, let me know your thoughts on these two takes. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? I'm Alex7, and I'll see you guys in another video. Peace.